I think it's really important to talk about mental health. Being able to normalize those conversations will just take us so much farther as community members, as individuals. So what is PTSD? PTSD stands for Posttraumatic Stress Disorder, a mental health condition that is highly related to having a traumatic or stressful experience in the past. So oftentimes people may think about PTSD and associate that specifically only with soldiers or people that have been in combat. And although that is a common experience for people, that's not the only way that people develop PTSD. Some examples of traumatic experiences in the past may include being a survivor of a natural disaster, survivor of sexual violence. As we're going through these symptoms, if any of them don't quite resonate with you, that's totally fine and that's normal. We all have such different experiences. And these are just some of the broad categories of symptoms that may present in people with PTSD. So one of the symptoms of PTSD is recurring type symptoms. So this can look like recurring, involuntary, intrusive, distressing thoughts that we have that are related to the trauma that we experience. They can show up as flashbacks of the trauma or even bad dreams about the trauma. And these can look like intrusive thoughts that come into our mind throughout the day. Avoidance symptoms may include avoiding specific objects, situations, or places that remind people of the trauma that they experience. They may even avoid specific people that create that overwhelming or activating experience that's linked to their trauma. Cognitive and mood symptoms can include having difficulty recalling the event or having negative thoughts about yourself. Another symptom is arousal symptoms. So for example, hypervigilance. This might look like being easily startled by something in our environment, having difficulty sleeping, or experiencing angry outbursts. One assumption that I've heard about PTSD is that people living with PTSD may have no control over their emotions or may be a danger to the people around them. That's a really harmful myth that we want to dispel. PTSD is treatable through options like one-on-one or group therapy, medication, self-soothing and mindfulness techniques, and even with the support of trained service animals. There's a lot of different options for supports and services that might work for someone living with PTSD. Remember, what works for one person may not quite work for another person, so it's important to take the time for us to really explore different options and see what works best for us. So something I like to do as a way to kind of ground myself is doing something called a body scan. We imagine that there's a little droplet of water on the top of our head, and as this water droplet, we see it going down our body. We check in on all the different parts that it passes, and we slowly release that tension with every deep breath. That's a little exercise that you can use at home. To learn more, visit nami.org/PTSD. And remember, you're not alone. Thank you, whoever's in charge of lighting, because I'm mad sunburned, and I do not look orange or red in that.